Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Vulkan, and today we're talking about all of the different places that you can get experience. So we're sort of entering the phase of Tower of Fantasy where experience is harder to come by and levels take more experience to get through. So we don't have any new story missions coming out right now. We've wrapped up the chapter and we're waiting for the next one to come. Now I'm not sure if that's 2.0 and they're going to kick off that story, or if there is sort of a precursor story to 2.0. The folks who have been playing on the CN version might have a little bit more to say about that, but for right now I'm not entirely sure. But what I do know is that experience is harder to come by, and a lot of people are asking me, where can we get experience? Is there different places that we can look in order to kind of supercharge our leveling process, or are we just kind of stuck farming chests or doing our daily bounties? Well, those are two ways that you can go about doing it, but there's quite a few different places you can get experience, and in today's video we're going to go through all of those. So let's talk about some of the most prominent ones. So if you go into your Wanderer's log here and you go over to your recommended, we have a couple things that we can look at. So one, yes, we do have our daily bounties. These are going to give you quite a bit of experience. And while it's not going to be as big of an impact as before, it's still a great source of experience. You have Mia's Kitchen. This is still a decent source of experience. You can get 37k every time you eat one of her meals. You can do that 3 times a day. So, you know, that's again a decent source. And then we have ruins. So if you're somebody who is behind on your ruins, let's just go in here really quick. If you're someone who's behind on your ruins, you can see that there's quite a bit of experience, especially as you get into the later ones, right? So let's go like normal on EO1, right? 241k. Let's go normal on DO3, 230,000. So you can see that as you go up in difficulty, but also as you get deeper into the kind of chain of ruins here, they're going to be worth more and more. If we go EO3 hard, you're looking at 447,000 experience. Now, that does require level 70, so obviously there is a little give and take here, but this is just something to consider and just another source for experience. Now, going into our select here, so we do have a couple places that we can get experience here. Obviously, you have your Stargates, so if we hit go and get these things spawned out in the world, you can see that these are giving 58,000 each. So if you want to go and wipe all of those out, you can. Just know that you're going to consume 30 vitality when you do that. So let's go back, and we have our Omnium Beacons. These are another thing. So this is something that people have been using a little bit to kind of get some experience. Now, each time you place one of these, you're going to get some experience, you know, 38,000, 40,000, that type of stuff. So if you're kind of short and you need to get a little bit to kind of bump up to the next level, then you can always go for an Omnium Beacon if you want to. Otherwise, you can either continue holding on to them or go out and collect them. So let's talk about some different ways that we can go and get some experience. Those are sort of the ones that are just in your face, but there's a couple other ways. So one thing I will mention really quickly, if you're somebody who's just now getting into the game and you're curious on how to level up and catch up and all of that stuff, you can continue doing the main story. The main story will give you quite a bit of experience, and then you can supplement the main story with some of these methods. But if you still have main story quests, consider doing those, unless you're holding on to them for a rainy day for some reason. So we do have side stories. That's another thing too. Side stories aren't great though. So if we go and look here at our story, you can see these little side stories up here. Now, I would recommend doing the ones that you need to do to complete these different areas. So for instance, you can see I've completed these two, but this Project Angel of Clemency, I still have Wandering Servant, which has 4 parts, and I still have Doctor's Coffee, which has 3 parts. Once I complete those, I'll complete this whole thing. These will give okay experience, not great, so please don't think that these are going to give you huge chunks. I did a side mission a couple days ago, and I got like 3,800 experience. It was a little bit more than a chest, so it wasn't exactly great, and it took way longer, so that's just something to keep in mind as well. But these are out here, so I would recommend doing these ones specifically. If you see some out in the world that you're like, oh man, I really want to do this one, you know, then go for it if you're into the lore. But otherwise, don't look at it as a huge source of experience, because truly that's not what it is. Okay, so we have one of the other kind of I'll say, a little bit more chill farming methods. And this is one I really enjoy, but it's chest farming. You can go out and you can just run a route. I have a video out there. It's a glorious 36 minutes long, but you can go watch it, and it goes through a farming route in Astra. So you can see down here, I have these little boar heads. I just go from this teleporter and I just hit all of these boar heads, and there's a ton of chests. There's a ton of elite enemies. You can get about 120,000 to 180,000 experience in roughly 20 to 25 minutes going through and doing this route. But a lot of people don't like chest farming. It's dull, it's boring, it's not something they want to do. So if you are somebody who likes that, that is another alternative for you. But let's talk about the one that a lot of people are doing, right? This is the one that, you know, you go into chat and you say, hey, how can I earn experience? This is the one that everybody is probably going to tell you to do, and that is AFK farming Frontier Clash. Okay, so if we go back into challenge and we see Frontier Clash here, so you want to make sure that you're completely out of charges. So, you know, go through, do normal, and play it, and actually play it, and try to push as far as you can, do all that fun stuff. That way you can get your rewards. But once you're out of attempts, then you can go out, hit go, you can join a normal group, and there's a button that says auto. Now, this is the same thing that you see on Dimensional Trials, where you can click auto and your character just plays itself. So it'll switch weapons, it'll use discharge abilities, it'll use skills, it'll eat food if you get hurt. It will literally play the game by itself. And each Frontier Clash lasts about 8 minutes. And it'll completely play through, and you'll get experience points as well as support points for doing this. Now, the experience from what I've seen is about 40,000, so I would say 35 to 40,000 in 8 minutes. You need quite a few in order to level up and do all that, but this is one of the most prominent ways that people are leveling up, because you can just click it and forget it, check back every 8 to 10 minutes. You should be done by that point, and then you can start up another Frontier Clash. People are doing this while they're working, while they're out shopping with their family, whatever, right? Because you can do it from your phone. It's really up to you, but this is one of the best ways that you can go out and get some experience. So everybody, that really is it. Those are all of the true sources of experience that I've been able to find that are considerable enough to push you forward in leveling. But I do want to hear from you guys. What other XP sources do you know about that I haven't covered here that are helping you push through these levels and get through sort of this drought of experience that we're having right now in Tower of Fantasy? Thank you everyone for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like Tower of Fantasy content, please consider liking and subscribing. This has been Vulkan, and I will talk to you guys next time.